Do we need high tariffs to bring back manufacturing to North America? Maybe as part of the solution, but generally I'm going to go ahead and say no. The tariffs are a way to make imported goods from countries like China, Mexico, and other places overseas more expensive. Some of these countries have very low labor costs. And when you have low labor costs, companies that are based here in the United States say, see you later, and they go overseas. And yeah, I get it. It sounds easy. Just slap some tariffs on stuff that comes in overseas. That'll increase domestic production. Great, problem solved. But sometimes easy isn't the best solution. One of the problems is that you can't just magically start producing more stuff here. It takes time. They have to hire workers, build factories, get assembly lines set up. It's complicated. And let's be honest, corporations aren't just going to eat the cost of these tariffs. They're going to pass them on to you and me, the consumers. So stuff's going to get more expensive. But it doesn't just end there. We don't just slap some tariffs on Mexico or Canada for their lumber or China for their steel and their other imports and just say, well, problem solved. There's usually some sort of retaliation, which can result in trade wars. So if we impose tariffs on them, they'll impose tariffs on us. Just take a look at this. See, in 2018, when Trump was president, he imposed some tariffs on China for aluminum and steel. And China didn't just go, oh man, they imposed tariffs of their own on US agricultural products. And you can see here, tariffs ranging additional from 5 to 25%. Who did this hurt? US farmers. So because his plan for tariffs backfired, he bailed out the farmers. But look at how much it cost of our tax-paying dollars. It says it right here. The Trump administration gave more taxpayer dollars to farmers harmed by the administration's policies. Trump spent more of our taxpayer dollars bailing out the farmers than any of this other stuff here. Now, tariffs aren't 100% across the board terrible. There are some use cases for them. They can help with domestic production and stuff like negotiations. Like a lot of people are going, well, when Biden became president, he didn't get rid of Trump's tariffs on China. No, he didn't. He kept them for negotiation, for trade wars. And like I said, tariffs can be a part of an overall solution, but what else could we do to bring manufacturing and domestic production back to the States? For starters, we could offer incentives like tax breaks, subsidies, and grants. We could go to states that need jobs and say, hey, if you bring stuff here, if you bring factories here to these states, like maybe even West Virginia, and say, hey, West Virginia, you used to be the coal state, but we're not using so much coal anymore. But you know what we need more of? Solar panels. Why don't we build a factory here, and the factory will give them tax breaks and incentives to bring jobs back to West Virginia. That would be one way. And investing in education and teaching people how to do these jobs, these manufacturing jobs, could be another way to help make a more competitive environment for employees. And last but not least, and this could also be a little bit tricky or controversial, would be automation. Robots making stuff would lower the cost of some of the stuff here at home long term. Of course, then you run the risk of maybe putting some people out of work, which then begs the question of maybe it could lead to some sort of universal basic income. Let's tie this all together because at the end of the day, this is a channel about the stock market and investing. So how do tariffs affect your investments? Well, let's say China retaliates like they did against agriculture. Let's say they impose tariffs on other things too, things that we export. Well, if people in China are buying less of our stuff, then the stuff that we're exporting is selling less, which means lower corporate profits. That can hurt the stock of some of these companies. And like we've already talked about, companies pass these costs on to us as consumers, which means inflationary pressures could rise. And what happens when there's inflation? We spend less. The less we spend, the less companies make. The less companies make, the worse their stock could do. You'll note that we're pretty global. A lot of the stuff that companies like Apple or Ford or Caterpillar make aren't just made in one. Something comes from Mexico, something comes from Canada, something comes from China. They put it all together, they make a product. So if we're having a trade war and tariffs and all these things are happening, maybe that means that they get less quality products. Maybe it means that they have to go and find more expensive products, which means they have to raise the price to make the money. All of this can still affect your stock. At the end of the day, if Wall Street hates one thing, it's uncertainty. And these tariffs and trade wars create lots of uncertainty. Again, this can impact your investments, the stock market. It could cause higher inflation. It could cause recessions. It could cause trade wars. It could cause real wars. And yes, some companies might benefit from this. But broadly speaking, the global effects could be devastating. And I wish that some of these easy quick fixes were actually easy quick fixes. But the reality is, in our global economy, in our global world, sometimes the thing that looks the easiest isn't so easy. There are a lot of moving parts here globally. Any politician who says, trust me, it's easy and I would do it, either doesn't know what they're talking about, or they know that they're lying to you to get your vote. Because, hey, why not? That sounds so easy. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the easy thing. Now, as always, this is the part in the video where I usually say, smash that follow, thanks for watching, see you later, but I'm sure that there are going to be people who get their feathers ruffled and proclaim in the comments that they're unfollowing. So if that's you, thanks for watching, see you later.